so wonderful to have the opportunity to speak with you both. How have you both been holding up and doing through this insane time? Alexandra, I want to start.
Oh, yes. Well, it's gone on for so long that I'm not sure where reality and pandemic and all of that begins and ends. But, it's been a good time to kind of nestle up and get the creative juices flowing, work on stuff that is going to build up to when we can all return back to some form of normality.
Yeah.
I would say that, yeah, we're just getting through it, everyone. Me and all that I know.
Yeah, Hannah, how about you?
I mean, very similar. Just it's been a great time to create in a very nested way.
Yeah.
It's been a time of reckoning and rebirth and just reassessing. I think everything in life, but it's been good. I mean, it's not been good. That's not true. It's we've been lucky to stay healthy, and it's a crazy time.
Yeah, it is, but we're all getting through, and hopefully next year, let's hope for good stuff. I want to congratulate you ladies on this film. First of all, I loved it, and hats off to you both, because I started to do some reading and I'm like, what? They did this all on their own? What? Like they had no help? What? Like, oh my God, right? So I want to ask you, first of all, you guys have been friends since forever, 8th grade, or you were 8 years old. I mean, and so that's a feat in itself, to be able to take a friendship and then kind of make it into a career as well. So I think that's wonderful. So Alexandra, tell me a little bit about how this all got started and where the idea for the story came from.
Oh, it all got started. I mean, I'll give you the medium length story to this answer to this question.
Okay.
Ken and I had a previous project, which is now going to be our second feature, Peachville. We had written that.
Right.
And we realized that no one was going to give us money except ourselves to make it. And so we wanted to make a proof of concept. So that was the original idea for the Planters, but we were just going to make a short film so we could show to investors like, hey, us two girls, we could do this. You could count on us to get a film made. And we realized that we didn't want to spend a bunch of money on it. So we said, oh, let's just go shoot it ourselves. And we'll be in it too. We'll just do the whole thing by ourselves. Just do something very stylistic, very much in our taste. And that turned into, oh, wow, this is actually pretty good. Let's just go for it. Let's just make a feature. It was really delusional now that we think about it. But
you did it.
Yeah, in terms of like the way we made it, that's how it came about. The story is did you also want to know about the story, or was that kind of what you were asking about?
Well, just about the creation of the whole thing and getting it off the ground, for sure. I mean, that's great. I mean, the story is great. So Hannah, why don't you take it away, because you're working together and doing everything together. What is the writing process like then?
The writing process for us is generally we start bigger picture, in the sense of either with characters or plot. I mean, definitely with the Planters, it started with the characters and with this image of two women escaping a mental health center and colliding in the desert. They were both escaping at that point, and that changed to just one character, which is me. But we'll generally, as writers, get a sense of the story, the scenes, and then it goes down to the sort of micro level where we'll branch off and each sort of assign each other scenes or pick scenes we're interested in, and then we'll come back together and workshop. Although some of that dialogue is found just in brainstorming together before we even get down to writing at the scene level. Sure. Yeah, and then it's sort of widening that microscope back out.
Yeah, and then you write yourself to play 3 different characters, very different. Who was the most challenging? They're all wonderful, but different.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never actually thought of that. I almost feel like Angie may have been the trickiest, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like there was, I think we were trying to play with the balance of like, here's the alternate personality that's this alcoholic, and she's rebellious, and she's, but I think there would have been a way to play that that was kind of big and aggressive, and I think we were playing a little bit with the line of not going in the more obvious direction with that, but that was just an interest, more of a line to toe. I think that we were trying to find the right.
Yeah, no, it works. It works. It's just, it's a lot of work for you, like, to have to go there. Alexandra, I'm wondering too, you're working on this, you guys are directing, you're doing everything, as I said earlier, the audio, the costumes, the this, the that, what challenged you at the end of the day?
Challenged us, me personally.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first film that I acted in. I mean, other than as a child, I did some wonderful pieces and some things, but
Yeah.
as an adult, this is the first thing. So I would say the learning curve for that was the biggest in terms of, but we got to really, it was a great environment to really explore diving into a character. So I would say that the biggest learning curve, if I'm understanding your question correctly, was probably, getting into the part, being Martha Plant, acting, and getting confidence in that. And I would also say that the second thing that was very challenging was just the length, how we underestimated how long it would take us to make a feature film without a crew.
Right.
And just having the perseverance, in a good way, challenged me to dig deep and get it done. Obviously, with the help of just, this other person that was on the set all the time, that happened to be my best friend.
Yeah. It's great that it worked out that way too, and because sometimes it's hard to work with your best friend. Like, did you guys have any kind of conflicts there?
All the time. No, actually, no.
Good.
Yeah. Well, we tell each other this, that it wouldn't have been possible probably to make this film with no crew, and it's just the two of us if we were fighting all the time.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
it probably just wouldn't, there would be no film, or that film would have maybe taken us, instead of like 130 shooting days, like 700 shooting days. So yeah, I would say we of course, there's disagreements in any normal relationship, but you get through them and move on.
Yeah. Have either of you ever, gone to a beach and started to dig things up or find little treasures? Like, was that ever your wheelhouse, even growing up as little kids, like finding stuff? It's always cool. I remember taking my kids to the beach and they would find, like, well, obviously the big ones are shells. Oh, that's the coolest thing to take home. But Hannah, like, when you start, like, was there anything, were you ever into that kind of thing?
I wouldn't say that was ever a hobby. I'd say more recently, I mean, before the Planters, I did do a little bit of geocaching, like in cemeteries and like weird stuff, but that was not, it was just a couple random times of exploring, but no, I don't have a treasure hunting background.
Okay. All right. And Alexandra?
Oh, I've always loved the idea of finding something that was like meant for you to find, or that you find on accident, that was buried there with the intention of someone, like that you're finding something special. Like, I always wanted to be a pirate and to get, to find treasure, even though I don't know, I'm sure that exists, but that realistically wouldn't happen for me.
Yeah.
So as a child, these are definite dreams that probably morphed into this film.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there would have to be. Now, Alexandra, of course, your dad is the wonderful Ted Kotcheff, who is born here in Toronto. Hello. Yes. Now, did you spend a little bit of time growing up here, or did you
Yeah.
hear it?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Great. Sorry. I think
Did we freeze off? Okay, here we go. We're back.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I freeze for a second.
Yeah.
Um,
Life of Zoom.
I grew up for a couple of years in Toronto. I've always been, my whole family, I feel more Canadian than American because I have no family in the United States. All my family is in Canada. So I go there every year. I did a couple of years of schooling, I think first and second grade in Toronto.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel I'm definitely a Torontonian at heart, even though I happen to have been born in La La Land.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But I've over the years have had the opportunity to speak with your dad. He's so talented. He's such a good guy. I want to know what the best piece of advice he gave you when he found out that you wanted to be a filmmaker.
Oh, I'm sure it happened kind of suddenly. Like, I was doing documentaries, which I think to like narrative filmmakers, it's obviously film, but it's a different kind of form that feels more almost like journalism.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just went out and we made this film. I had done some short films before that, but I think it just kind of was like, oh, wow. And I would definitely say the biggest advice that my dad's given me is like just to work hard. I mean, I always saw him working really hard growing up, no matter what he was working on.
Sure.
And he was just always working, getting into it. He wasn't just sitting at the TV, like with his legs up, chilling, which you might like think, oh, Hollywood filmmakers, they're just like relaxing and enjoying champagne all the time. Yeah, I'm sure they do that. They do that. But he works hard my whole life he's always worked hard.
Yeah, he's such a good guy. So Hannah, what's next for the two of you? What do you, I think you've done such a wonderful job on this. It's such a great, it must have been a great experience, but I think people will look at it and go, wow, good on them for doing this. So what are you, what's gestating now between the two of you?
Yeah, we have our second feature that we're currently in early stages of development on. It's another dark comedy called Peachville.
Great.
And yeah, that is cooking in the oven right now.
Yeah, well, good stuff. Good
Cooking.
It's cooking. And I have to mention the pea soup because you do know, I don't know if you know this, Alexandra, but the best pea soup in the world you can get here in Toronto at United Bakers at Lawrence Plaza. Have you ever been there?
Oh, I have been. I didn't know that about the pea soup, but I will next time I'm in Toronto. Definitely go get that.
Yeah, we'll go together and we'll enjoy a
Okay.
cup because I'm telling you, it is. I just actually went out and got some, and I've not been buying a lot of food during COVID. I've been baking a lot, but I go, I have a craving for this pea soup, and then I watch your movie, and I'm like, I gotta go get some pea soup. So,
we had all these dreams when we were, obviously our festival run got cut a little bit short, but we had these ideas like, okay, we're gonna pass out peanut butter jelly sandwiches and shots of pea soup at one of our festivals, but it didn't end up happening. Next film
for sure. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time to both of you today. I've really enjoyed my chat with you both, and best of luck with everything. And seriously, if you do come to Toronto, the both of you, let's hook up and let's have some pea soup. Okay, I'm serious.
Yeah, pea soup. Thank you. It was lovely chatting.
All right, thanks. Have a good day. Okay, thanks for your time. Bye-bye.